Welcome to this short practice, this short reset, refresh practice. Whenever you need a moment to press that refresh button in life, like we do on our computer when the web page isn't loading, we hit refresh and it just starts all over again. And sometimes we need that. We need a little moment, a little break, just to refresh. So I invite you to get comfortable, find yourself a seat, and let's begin. And we're going to begin with a pranayama practice called the Bhastrika breath. And this breath is kind of a deep inhalation and a deep exhalation, really, really kind of invigorating. And what it's going to do maybe is open up a space so that we can just sink a little bit deeply, more deeply into our practice. So get comfortable, cross-legged in your seat or kneeling or even sitting on a chair. Let your spine be tall, close your eyes, and let's just take a moment to come into our breath. And just starting to slow the breath down. And closing your eyes and tuning into that breath. Feeling it filling up the lungs. And perhaps you're feeling the body settle a little more, soften a little more. But just even closing our eyes and breathing slow and deep, it's already a little refresh, a little reset for our nervous system. It brings us into more calm state of steadiness, grounding. It brings our nervous system more to a place of balance. And perhaps you can even feel that wave of calm and relaxation move through the body, inviting the muscles, the body to soften a little more. Each deep breath inviting us more and more into this moment, to the here and the now. Good. Then let's begin this Bhastrika breath. And I would avoid this if you are pregnant, might be pregnant, or have unstable blood pressure. If you have any of those conditions, or another that you might think you need to be mindful of here, I would just stay with slow, deep breathing. I'll join you in a moment. But for the rest, if you're ready, let's take a deep breath in. Through the nose or the mouth. And a big exhale. Inhaling. And exhale. And deep breath. Exhale. Deep, deep breath. Big, big exhale. 2 more times. Inhaling. Exhale. Last time. And exhale all the way. And then just settle into that space. And see what that short breath practice has created. Like a gateway, what has it opened up? What space has opened up to us? And just resting here for a moment longer. Slow, deep breaths. Ease, stillness, calm in the body. And then we're going to start by releasing our neck. So we're going to bring our chin down towards the chest. Letting the head hang very heavily. And then rolling your right ear over towards your right shoulder. And then doing a little pause here and stretching out through that left side of the neck. And then the chin comes back to the chest, rolling left ear to the left shoulder. Pause, stretch. And back to center again. Over to the other side. Pause, stretch. Now maybe we can take this a little deeper. Maybe that right hand comes on top of the head. And maybe your left arm wraps around your lower back and really drop into that left shoulder. So the shoulder and the ear are moving in opposite directions, but very gently. We're not pulling, we're not really pushing. We're trying to gently release. Keep the chest lifted. And then we're going to turn to look towards the shoulder, towards the armpit, and then draw your chin down. Maybe walk the hand a little bit further towards the very top of the neck, where the neck and the skull meet. And then just draw that chin a little more deeply. Now use your hand, bring it to the forehead, and use your hand rather than the muscles of the neck to lift up. Turn back to center and release both arms. Good. A deep breath in. Take the arms up to the sky. And a big exhale. Hands return back to the floor and to the ground. Tip over to the other side. So now your left ear over the left shoulder. Maybe that left hand comes on top of the head. Maybe that right arm wraps around the lower back. Send the shoulder away from the ear. Really open up that neck, but not in a strained way, not in a forceful way. Very gentle. Keeping the chest lifted and your breath nice and full. And then we're going to turn to look towards the armpit, the shoulder, drop the chin into the chest. Move your hand back to the nape of the neck. And then start to draw down. The chin more towards the armpit. Keeping the chest lifted so we're not rounding in the back. And bring your hand to your forehead. Press into the hand to lift the head. Turn the gaze back to center. And then release the arms down. Good. Big inhale. Take both arms up to the sky. This time you're going to interlace the hands behind your back. I'll turn to the side so you can see what that looks like. We're going to interlace the hands behind the back. Lean back so you can catch the floor with your knuckles if that's possible. Roll the shoulders back and start to lift the chest. Rooting down through the hips, through the knees, keeping the neck soft and neutral. Nice big stretch here. And if it doesn't feel good with your hands interlaced, just undo them and take the palms to the floor. Roll the shoulders back. One more breath. Can you build your breath all the way from your belly into the heart? Good. And then we're going to walk our hands forward. And if you're not sitting already in a cross-legged seat, then let's get ourselves into that cross-legged seat. One leg in front of the other, and you're just going to walk yourself into a forward fold. And it might be possible that your head gets all the way to the floor. That might not be possible for you, and that's completely okay. Just let your hands rest to the ground and just lean into it. So wherever you are, feel the breath. And really feel and connect to the breath in the back body. It's mostly this deep and slow breathing that is going to have the biggest effect on the way we feel afterwards. So if you are thinking about just getting into the pose and the postures and sacrificing the breath, you might be also sacrificing the benefits and how good you might feel after the practice. So really value the breath. And let's slowly come up. Good. We're going to stay here for a moment and then take your hands out to the side. We're going to take a nice side bend. So let me turn around. You're going to breathe in, take your right arm up to the sky, and as you exhale, over to that left side. Inhale, see if you can sink down that right hip, spin the chest towards the sky, and breathe here. And just notice if your going directly over to your side, or if you've kind of angled yourself backwards. That's really common, what happens in our bodies. And the more you root into that right hip, the more you can reach out of it and open all the tissue and the muscles there. Remember not to compromise the breath. And then come all the way back up. And take the hand back to the floor. Good. We'll do the other side. So inhale the left arm up now. Big breath and exhaling over into that side bend. Keep rooting down through that left sit bone. Open up into the side waist. Spin the ribs. Maybe even look up. But if that doesn't feel good for your neck, then just let your head be where it feels best. Think of rooting into the left sit bone. Opening up into that tissue, the sides of the ribs, the waist. And then come all the way up again. Good. We're going to switch this leg that's in the front and we're going to bring it over to the back. And we're going to do the same thing. Hands come in front of us. Inhale to lift and lengthen the spine. And as you exhale, we're going to come back into that forward fold. So it might just be a little lean for you. It might be a nice deep forward fold. Just see what is possible. And soften the shoulders. It's a really nice way just to gently stretch and open the hips after our day. And then walking your hands back, coming up right. Then we're going to come onto all fours, onto our hands and knees. So coming into an all fours position. My ground is a little uneven here. Totally worth it though for this view. So stacking the hands under your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. And I really like to just wag the tail from side to side. And as we do this, we're stretching into the muscles of the outer hip, loosening the back, and then make circles. So start to pull your hips around in circles. And as you do that, can you connect to your core a little bit as well? So the core is really guiding that. Go around the other direction, the opposite way. Good. And then we're going to come into our cat-cow. So inhale, lifting the chin up to the sky, drawing the shoulders back. Exhale, round the spine, press into your hands, really tuck the chin to the chest, curl the tailbone to the back of the knees. Inhaling again. Open, lift. And exhale, round. Inhale to open, lift, last one. And exhale, round. Good, and then coming back to that center. And maybe we're just going to walk the arms out and sink the chest down. And we might just stop here for a little stretch and opening of the heart. You might be able to, keeping the hips above the knees, sink all the way down. Let the forehead or the chin come to your mat. And breathing nice and deep wherever you are here. And pull the lower belly in. Those last few ribs, pull them up and into the body. And just feel that beautiful stretch and opening for the shoulders and the chest. And we're going to walk our hands back up. And then we're going to tuck the toes and just open up into the backs of the legs, spreading the fingers nice and wide, bending one knee, straightening the opposite leg. Really open up into the calf muscles. Shift your hips and your weight over to the right and the left. And then we're going to do something to really open the side body. So I call this the skiing downward facing dog. It reminds me of skiing. So I'm going to pivot my feet so that my toes are facing the right side of the mat. My heels have spun to the left side of the mat. Now my back leg I'm going to straighten more, and my left knee I'm going to bend and sink into that. Good. And then come back to the center, pivot over to the left side of the mat with your toes. The heels will come naturally over to the right. Straighten the left leg, that back leg, and bend your right knee and really push into your hands to push the hips back. Good, back to center. Now push down into your hands, lift your sit bones as high into the sky as you can. Chest back to the thighs, big opening. And exhale all the way down, back to your knees. If you can, land on your knees. We're gonna come all the way up, taking the hands behind us, and you can either have fingertips up, which for me gives me a little reminder to lift up through the backs of my ribs. But if that's not possible in your wrists, just turn your fingertips down. Squeeze the elbows in, but relax the shoulders. Now zip up the inner thighs so they're not touching. The knees are hip distance apart, but you're almost zippering them up towards each other. Then start to zip up the pubic bone to your navel, and then the navel zips up to your chest, and the chest starts to zip up to the chin, and then you're in a back bend, nice and strong through the legs, supported through the lower body. Good. And maybe this is all we're going to do. Maybe a little back bend is good for the front body to stretch, a little bit of engagement through the glutes. Or maybe you can tuck the toes and reach back if the heels are nearby, and that doesn't strain the body too much. It feels appropriate and good. Maybe a little camel. Big breath into the belly here. And then to come out of that, really use the core, engage, come back upright, and then just sit back. Either sitting on your heels so that the spine is tall, or come forward onto your hands so that the spine is long here. Good. And then from there, we're going to come to our seat. So coming to our seat, extending the legs in front of us. Perfect. And we're going to come into a Janu sirsasana. So finishing with last two poses. Bring the sole of the foot to the inner thigh. Stretching the toes of that right leg up to the sky, and a deep breath in. And I invite you to bend that left leg. So the straight leg, put a little bend in the knee, tip forward, and come down into your fold. So you might catch the foot, you might not. You might even start up here just so that the back, after that back bend, has more space. And you can still get a stretch in the hamstring, even keeping your chest way away from that knee. We do that by pulling the hip back. And go into this for a couple of breaths. Close your eyes. Feel into the body, and it might take you a few breaths to feel into the pose. And I invite you to, every time you inhale, to reassess, to press the refresh and restart it. Find that length and the lift through the spine that takes you up and over the leg to go maybe a little deeper. Every inhale, refresh, restart. Maybe draw the shoulder blades back if they're starting to creep forward too much. And then let's come all the way up. Reach the arms up to the sky. And we're going to take a twist. We're going to twist towards this bent knee. Take the right hand behind you. The left hand comes across the knee. Look over your shoulder. From your sit bones, try to get even taller, even straighter, so no leaning on that back hand. And then just a little cherry. We're going to press into that right hand. Lift the left arm up, and maybe this is all we're going to do. Or you're going to push into that right hand. Lift your hips and a nice little stretch back. And then come back down, and we'll finish with the other side. So taking that right leg forward, bring the left foot into the inner thigh, toes up to the sky. Breathe in. Stretch the arms. Exhale, fold forward, soften the shoulders, the face, the jaw. And again, you might not have the foot. You might be here. Maybe that is about lengthening the sides of the waist for you, sitting up out of your seat. Maybe it will feel better if you bend the knee a little bit. Remember, the benefits will come when the breath is slow and deep. Every breath brings a deeper layer of awareness. One more breath here. And slowly, let's come up. Reach your arms up to the sky, lengthen. Twist over to the left, so taking your right hand to your knee, the left hand comes behind you. Pressing into the hand to keep you upright. Active through the legs, twisting, rotating, maybe looking over the back shoulder. And then keeping the left hand grounded, right arm reaches up. You're going to push into that left arm, pop yourself up, push the hips forward and a little back bend here if that's available in your body. Big breath from your belly to your heart. And then send your bottom down. Good. And depending on where you are and what time of day this is for you, if this is a short little evening practice, come into shavasana, lie on your back. If this is a practice you're doing, maybe in the morning or maybe in midday and lunch, and you don't want to risk shavasana because it might make you too tired, although shavasana in itself is the ultimate reset, then you may come into a seat instead and just take a few minutes there. But perhaps shavasana is going to serve you, just lying your body down, having your legs wider than your hips, the arms by the side of your body. And for a moment, just feel any subtle sensations that are happening, anything that's going on in the body. And that might be very visceral. It might be very subtle. Slow down the breath again if it needs be. And then just allow yourself this moment. Even if your head is telling you that we're in a rush and we need to jump up and go do the next thing, give yourself this break, this moment. And by doing so, you're hitting the ultimate restart, refresh. And if you have time, my friends, I would like you just to stay here for as long as time permits you. If you're short on time, then take one more deep breath. Maybe a big audible sigh. And again, the choice is yours. Stay longer, pause, or if you're ready, you can slowly come out of this. Maybe bring the knees into the chest first. And come to your side. And then using your arms, press yourself all the way back up. And just sit for a moment to observe, to feel, maybe to smile. And may you feel refreshed. And may you remember that there's always, whenever we need it, just pause, close your eyes, tune into that slow, rhythmical breath. And thank you for your practice. Namaste.